Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Polito, Lieutenant Governor, and it's an honor to be with you on this Memorial Day 2021. This is a day that we all look forward to coming together in our community. I've always looked forward to walking down Maple Avenue and seeing so many people gathered together in the center of our town with all of the flags and a full display of patriotism evident. Today feels a little different. It feels a lot different, but it doesn't dampen how we all feel about our community, our veterans, their families, and those who paid with the ultimate sacrifice and who we remember today on Memorial Day. I want to first start with thanking the town of Shrewsbury, Angela Snell, and your whole team for doing it upright as you always do, putting all the colors out there as a reminder to everyone in our community how we feel about our veterans and their families. I also want to thank my colleagues at the municipal level in Shrewsbury and across the Commonwealth for all the extraordinary work you've done over the course of this past year. Partnering with you, making sure that we were doing everything possible to keep the people of our community safe. We've had many conversations and meetings over the course of this year, and to all of the emergency responders and first responders, our police and fire, all the healthcare professionals, thank you for your extraordinary work over the course of this past year. You said yes, you stood up, no questions asked, especially with the incredible uncertainty that COVID brought to our communities and to our lives throughout this year. I also want to thank my colleagues in state government, Senator Michael Moore and Representative Hannah Kane, who you'll hear from. Thank you for your work in leading for our region and also working with our administration to make sure that the resources were available to stand up the response relative to the pandemic. And now we look forward to working with you in full recovery as the Commonwealth's economy opens over this weekend. I want to say thank you to the citizens of Shrewsbury, to this region and to the Commonwealth. On behalf of Governor Baker and our administration, how grateful we are. You did your part. You've worked hard to keep yourself and your family safe. And I want to thank you for the sacrifices and for the hardship that this pandemic has brought upon all of us. We stand together today, stronger, more resilient, and prepared for a full reopening of the life that we so love and enjoy here in Shrewsbury and in our Commonwealth. And I wish to just amplify that because on Memorial Day, when we remember the veterans and the soldiers and their families over many decades who have gone to fight for our freedom, we know, especially after this year, their fight was important and it was respected and it was valued. It's because of their sacrifices that we have this tremendous quality of life and ability to live in the greatest country in the world. And to all of our military families today, of the past, and for those who choose to wear the uniform in the future, we are grateful, we are thankful, and we appreciate you. So on this Memorial Day, continue to do your part and remember and say thank you to the veterans who serve us, who have served, and will continue to serve this great nation. God bless you all on this beautiful day.
Good morning. I'm Major Retired John Travers from Raystone Post 238. I'd like to welcome you to this year's Shrewsbury's Memorial Day ceremony. This year's Memorial Day ceremony will be virtual, as was last year's, due to the pandemic. However, our sentiment and respect for this day remain the same. Memorial Day was formerly known as Decoration Day and commemorates the ultimate sacrifice of all the men and women who have died in military service for the United States. The tradition of honoring troops who died in conflict while defending our country began after the Civil War in 1868, during which time 620,000 Americans lost their lives. I have chosen to stand at Mountain View Cemetery, where our traditional cemetery ends, and where I'm standing near our own local fallen heroes. We have heroes here from many of our nation's conflicts, such as World War II, where we've lost 291,000 American lives, the Korean War, over 33,000 lives, the Vietnam War, over 47,000 lives, the Gulf War, 149 lives, and our current war on terror, where we've lost over 5,600 lives. Memorial Day is celebrated in every city and town in America as we honor our heroes. The essence of the day and the respect that is due to our fallen heroes is seen at Arlington National Cemetery. One boot length and one pause to take a mental reading of the name displayed before the soldier on the headstone. With the tip of the soldier's boot close to the headstone, a soldier with the U.S. Army 3rd Infantry Regiment, known as the Old Guard, plants an American flag at his or her heel. And then he or she does it again for the next headstone in the nearby line rows. Annually, over 900 soldiers participate in this tradition. Old Guard soldiers repeat this somber action on Thursday until every grave marker, over 240,000 at Arlington National Cemetery, has a flag in front of it as part of the Flag In, a pre-Memorial Day Army tradition. Memorial Day is not a day of celebration. It is a day meant to honor and remember the men and women who gave their lives defending our country. It is meant to be a day of solemn remembrance, to cherish the memory of our heroic dead. As President Truman said, our debt to the heroic men and valiant women in the service of our country can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude. America will never forget their sacrifice. So please take time this weekend, think of all the rights and the freedoms that we enjoy as Americans, and think of the servicemen and women who made the ultimate sacrifice on our behalf for us to enjoy those rights and freedoms, and think of the families that they left behind that suffered that loss. And not just that loss on the solemn day, but each and every day. Lastly, we need to thank our participants of today's ceremony. Our local elected officials who are always present with us to honor our fallen heroes. Our Girl Scouts who laid the flags at the cemetery. Our Cub Scouts in Pack 62 and Pack 114 who decorated our veteran squares around town, and our Boy Scouts who read the names of those squares as part of today's ceremony. Our veterans who planned the event with Angela Snell, our Superintendent of Facilities and Parks, and her staff that decorates for Memorial Day and cares for the grounds. Mark Serra from the Shrewsbury Media Connection, our media team that put this ceremony all together. Lastly, I feel it is again appropriate to say thank you and God bless you to our doctors, nurses, and first responders who put themselves in harm's way daily during the pandemic to keep us safe and healthy. Thank you, and have a great Memorial Day.
I am John Samia, Chairman of the Shrewsbury Board of Selectmen. It is an honor and a privilege to be talking to you on this Memorial Day, May 31st, 2021. Hopefully next year, we will return to our time-honored in-person tradition of being able to honor those soldiers who have given their lives in action. For many, Memorial Day means the unofficial start of summer. For others, Memorial Day is a time to remember friends and family who have been lost, many of whom have been lost during the pandemic. For all, it is about honoring and mourning the military personnel who have died while performing their duties for the United States. Decoration Day originated on May 5, 1868, by proclamation of General John A. Logan. The first Memorial Day observance was held to honor those who died in the Civil War in defense of their country during the late rebellion. The name Memorial Day would be used with or in place of Decoration Day over the next few decades, and after World War I, the day became to honor veterans from all wars, not only the Civil War. On the first Decoration Day, held on May 30th, 1868, James Garfield, then an Ohio congressman, who had also served as a major general in the Civil War and had later become president, made a speech at the Arlington National Cemetery, after which 5,000 participants helped to decorate the graves of thousands of Civil War soldiers buried in the cemetery. He stated the following, which really explains what Decoration Day, or Memorial Day, means and why it should be celebrated. I am oppressed with a sense of the impropriety of uttering words on this occasion. If silence is ever golden, it must be here beside the graves of 15,000 men whose lives were more significant than speech and whose death was a poem, the music of which can never be sung. I recently asked a good friend who served 2 tours on the front lines in Vietnam about what Memorial Day means to him. I found his thoughts to be as equally instructive as General Garfield's. He said, "John, I served with great friends in Vietnam. These were all cream of the crop and outstanding people. We all had each other's back. 17 of his good friends, of his brothers, did not make it home from Vietnam, and every Memorial Day and Veterans Day, he pauses, recites their name, and honors their memories with a moment of silence. I know that today, many will be celebrating and spending time with their family and friends, and unofficially welcoming summer. We are able to do this because of the selfless sacrifices that those we honor today made. Let's never forget the selfless acts of those heroic men and women, and I would ask that we heed the advice of General Garfield and my friend, and spend time today silently reflecting and remembering all of those who have given the ultimate sacrifice to preserve democracy and freedom for all of us. Thank you.
Greetings to all this Memorial Day. Though the ceremonies and traditional ways that we've gathered to honor and remember the sacrifices of our service members have necessarily changed the last 2 Memorial Days, our commitment to doing so has not. I want to thank the Shrewsbury Memorial Day Committee and Veterans Council for guiding our Memorial Day services, and Shrewsbury Immediate Connection for ensuring that all in our community can connect and remember our fallen. Over 150 years ago, with America still reeling from the Civil War, General John Logan, National Commander of the Grand Army of the Republic, issued a proclamation that the 30th of May would be an occasion to honor those who died in conflict. The 30th of May was originally chosen as Memorial Day, or Decoration Day as it was called then, because it wasn't the anniversary of any particular battle. However, on June 28, 1968, the United States Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which moved 4 holidays, including Memorial Day, from their traditional dates to a specified Monday in order to create a convenient 3-day weekend. The change moved Memorial Day from its traditional May 30th date to the last Monday in May. Many, including the veterans of foreign wars, indicated concern with the moving of the date, saying, and I quote, "Changing the date to merely create a 3-day weekend has undermined the very meaning of the day. No doubt this has contributed greatly to the general public's nonchalant observance of Memorial Day." Beginning in 1987, Hawaii Senator Daniel Inouye, a World War II veteran, introduced a measure to return Memorial Day to its traditional date. Inouye continued introducing the resolution every Congress until his death in 2012. In his introductory remarks to the bill that he introduced in 1999, he stated, and I quote, "Mr. President, In our effort to accommodate many Americans by making the last Monday in May Memorial Day, we have lost sight of the significance of this day to our nation. Instead of using Memorial Day as a time to honor and reflect on the sacrifices made by Americans in combat, many Americans use the day as a celebration of the beginning of summer. My legislation would help restore the recognition our veterans deserve for the sacrifices they have made on our behalf as our nation. It is important that we mark Senator Daniel Inouye's request that we stay steadfast in our commitment to Memorial Day as a somber day of remembrance, a day when Americans go to cemeteries and place flags or flowers on the graves of our war dead. It is a day to remember ancestors, family members, loved ones, and community members who gave the ultimate sacrifice. It is important that all of us remember and honor, not just those intimately reeling from an enormous personal loss, but especially those of us who are without personal loss and yet fully cognizant of the cost borne by others so that we can be free. While the duty of our brave men and women who lost their lives defending our nation has ended, our duty begins anew each and every Memorial Day to keep their service and sacrifice utmost in our collective memories, and to ensure that our children and grandchildren know the meaning and the symbolism of this Remembrance Day as Memorial Day, not the conveniently scheduled 3-day commercialized weekend celebrating the start of summer. May God bless all who have fallen on behalf of our great nation and for ensuring that our collective and individual freedoms reign. And may God bless America. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Senator Michael Moore. I first want to thank the Shrewsbury Memorial Day Parade Committee for inviting me and allowing me to be part of your ceremonies this year. Today, we honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Much like last year, we are still dealing with the effects of COVID-19. But we can still come together to pay our respects to the heroes of this nation. It is because of their sacrifice that we are able to live freely in the Commonwealth and the country. By virtually celebrating this national holiday, we are helping to preserve the freedom that was earned for us by these heroes. And we can still honor these brave men and women from our homes simply by keeping them and their families in your thoughts on this day. And to the families of these heroes, I sincerely thank you for your service.
Hello, I'm Fred Russell, the commander of the Victor R. Carranza American Legion Post 397 here in town, and also a member of the Veterans Council, which is comprised of 3 posts, a 2nd American Legion Post, the Ray Stone Post, and the Charles Murphy Post of the VFW. All 3 of these men are part of the reason why we have Memorial Day. All 3 of them died defending this country on foreign lands. Victor R. Carranza died in World War II. Ray Stone, World War I, and Charles Murphy was Vietnam. Many people think that Memorial Day is just a day of parties and cookouts that kicks off the summer. But the real reason for it is to remember and honor veterans such as these and all others who have died in all wars and conflicts that the United States was involved in from the American Revolution until today. There's a 3 o'clock moment of silence held every year on Memorial Day for 1 minute. I would appreciate it, and as with these men, and also the women who have died in service to their country, if you would take the time to observe it. Thank you.
The Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of it as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but they can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they have, thus far, so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom. And that government, of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The 30th day of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. In this observance, no form or ceremony is prescribed, but posts and comrades will, in their own way, arrange such fitting services and testimonials of respect as circumstances may permit. We are organized, comrades, as our regulations tell us, for the purpose, among other things, of preserving and strengthening those kind of fraternal feelings which have bound together the soldiers, sailors, and Marines who united to suppress the late rebellion. What can aid more to assure this result than by cherishing tenderly the memory of our heroic dead, who made their breasts a barricade between our country and its foe? Their soldier lives were the reveille of freedom to a race in chains, and their death a tattoo of rebellious tyranny in arms. We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance. All that the consecrated wealth and taste of the nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of her slain defenders. Let no wanton foot tread rudely on such hallowed grounds. Let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and found mourners. Let no vandalism of avarice or neglect, no ravages of time testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. If other eyes grow dull and other hands slack and other hearts cold in the solemn trust, ours shall keep it well as long as the light and warmth of life remain in us. Let us then, at the time appointed, gather around their sacred remains and garland the passionless mounds above them with choicest flowers of springtime. Let us raise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us in this solemn presence renew our pledges to aid and assist those whom they have left among us as sacred charges upon the nation's gratitude, the soldiers and sailors, widow and orphan. It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief to inaugurate this observance with the hope it will be kept up from year to year, while a survivor of the war remains to honor the memory of his departed comrades. He earnestly desires the public press to call attention to this order and lend its friendly aid in bringing it to the notice of comrades in all parts of the country in time for simultaneous compliance therewith. Department commanders will use every effort to make this order effective.
Hi, my name is O.G. Anderson, and I'm the co-president to the Wind Ensemble this year. Hymn to the Fallen from the 1998 film Saving Private Ryan is a memorial for all the soldiers who sacrificed themselves on the altar of freedom in the Normandy invasion on June 6, 1944. Director Steven Spielberg comments on John Williams' film score. It's a piece of music and a testament to John Williams' sensitivity and brilliance that, in my opinion, will stand the test of time and honor forever the fallen of this war and possibly all wars. Please enjoy the Shrewsbury High School Concert Band's presentation of Hymn to the Fallen, composed by John Williams and arranged by Michael Sweeney.
Captain Winthrop Avery, World War II. Julius T. Benedict, World War II. James E. Conwan, World War I.
Corporal Alan E. Duke, World War I. Private First Class Richard D. Phippen, World War II. Sergeant Carl Furbeck, World War II.
Herbert B. Hapgood, World War I. Private Joseph W. Hickey, World War I. Sergeant Lloyd E. Hill, Korea.
Private First Class Carl A. Johnson, World War II. Staff Sergeant Walter F. Johnson, World War II. Sergeant Melvin Kaiser, World War II.
Sergeant Bernard F. Kramick, World War II. Francis S. McGuire, World War I. Private First Class Robert J. McGuire, World War II.
Robert E. Marston, World War I. Tech Sergeant Joseph D. McGarry, World War II. Staff Sergeant Charles J. Murphy, Vietnam.
Lieutenant Colonel Walter J. Patton, World War II. Staff Sergeant Victor R. Quaranta, World War II. Private First Class Harold J. Salvatore, World War II.
Private First Class Harold J. Salvatore, World War II. Private James Schuler, World War I. Private First Class James F. Sheehan, World War II.
Byron E. Stone, World War I. Sergeant Raymond Stone, World War I. Private First Class Homer E. Vassar, World War II.
Staff Sergeant Edward F. Wyskowski, World War II. Captain Isaac Harrison, Revolutionary War. Private First Class Brian M. Moquin, Jr., Afghanistan.